Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Lige 6801, homage to a Rolex sub. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Invicta DNA Flying Tiger watch. Yes, I know it's not officially a Flying Tiger watch, but that's what I'm going to call it. Then afterwards, I'm going to go binge watch Baba Black Sheep. And Grogu's wearing my Bernie Titanium. I asked Grogu if Master Skywalker is getting the Jedi Academy ready for Life Day, now that Thanksgiving is over. Grogu says, sure. Just this morning, Master Skywalker said it's time to deck the malls. I said, don't you mean deck the halls? He said, no, it's deck the malls. Before Dr. Pershing got his brain zapped, he had cloned Darth Maul, and there must be at least 30 of them. All right, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this box. This is the same box it came in last time. And it still has a magnet clasp. I don't know why they put magnets in automatic watches. I imagine if they stacked them all in a big pile at the warehouse, it puts up quite a magnetic field. But here it is. And look at that. It didn't come with a little foam thing to put underneath the watch. I'm assuming they just forgot on this particular watch. But you never know. Maybe they're saving money by not doing that. I have a feeling when I sell this watch, though, I'm going to have to steal one out of another box. But here it is, ticking away. It's a nice looking watch, really. It's kind of hard to believe what I paid for this. This is the second time I reviewed a Lige 6801 on my channel. The first time was over 2 years ago when my channel was fairly new, and I was very impressed by the fact that I was able to get a solid steel watch with a 4 hertz movement for $40. Well, I was perusing the super deals on AliExpress the other day and saw this same watch for $25, which is significantly lower than $40. So I decided to give this watch a second look and see if anything changed in the last 2 years, as most of these Chinese brands don't bother updating reference numbers when a watch is significantly updated or downgraded. Plus, last time I did not have a proper Timegrapher, so I wanted to check out the movement. Last time I bought a Hulk, so this time I bought a Smurf, which I prefer anyway. On the $25 listing, the black was also available. There are other colorways, but they were not in the super deals. If you want a two-tone or the red dial, you're going to have to spend the $40. The watch is 40.4 millimeters at the bezel, which just barely overhangs the case. It's 47.9 millimeters lug to lug with protruding end links. It's 13.8 millimeters thick, which is a good millimeter thicker than the last one I reviewed. Has a 20 millimeter lug width and weighs 145 grams on the supplied bracelet with 3 links removed. Last time I only removed 1, so they must have added some more links, which is good. We have a 90-click unidirectional ceramic bezel, and the action is really good, and there's no back play. And last time I reviewed it, it was a 60-click, so they went from 60 to 90. I don't know why they did that. 90 is always such a odd number because 60 does not go into 90, but it goes into 120. Of course, I might have miscounted last time. One of my viewers pointed out that I was really lousy at counting because he just couldn't believe that Addy's Dive Yachtmaster I reviewed had a 360-click bezel, but it did. But he was really rude about it, so I ended up blocking him. Then we have a sunburst dial. The dial is very nice. I like it. Then we have an applied Lige logo. Then it says Design Lige Watch 1856. I'm sure Lige has not been around since 1856, and if they were, they sure weren't making watches back then. And we got the bottom writing. We got the hands in the way, so let me move them. I know I should always move the hands before I start my review, and I never do. All right, now you can see the writing there, and then it says automatic, water resistant, 100 meters. So yes, this is a 100-meter watch, and I believe them. I mean, it seems like 100-meter. If they're going to lie about the water resistance, why not say 200? So I think 100 meters is accurate. Then we have the applied loomed indices, and of course they're Rolex style with the upside down triangle at the 12, batons at the 6 and the 9, and dots everywhere else. And then we have the Rolex style hands with a fence post minute hand, Mercedes hour hand, and a lollipop second hand. And this second hand does have a counterbalance. Then we have a date at the 3 with a Cyclops, and unfortunately the Cyclops barely magnifies. So I really wish if they're not going to put decent magnification on the Cyclops, they just leave it off. A lot of people don't like Cyclops. I'm indifferent about them. If I have one, though, I want it to work, and this one just doesn't work. We have a signed screw-down crown. It pops a little bit, not nicely, but it pops. Then when you go to screw it back down, the threads seem to catch pretty good. There's not a lot of resistance there. I think it has good thread action. And then we have a crystal. The ad says sapphire. It is not. I tested it. It's glass. The last one I had, it was also glass when they said sapphire. Now, one thing that is different, though, the last one I had, the crystal was actually lower than the bezel. And when you actually rubbed your thumb against it, it would be sharp there where the bezel was. But they must have fixed that because it is sticking up above the bezel now. Just barely, but it is above the bezel and there's no sharpness. So, of course, it's thicker now. So that might have contributed to that, but not a lot because it does stick up above the bezel, but just barely. Not enough to be 1 millimeter thicker than it was. Then we have the case. The case is solid steel. It's a nice case. It's polished on the sides, brushed on the tops and the bottom. It's your typical sub-style case, and they've done a good job with it. And the crown guards actually protect the crown a little bit. It's not just a pedestal for the crown. Then we have a display screw-down case back. Of course, if the crystal's not sapphire, the display case back isn't going to be sapphire either. But it gives the water resistance, says stainless steel, and it is. Then it says Lige design. Doesn't give the model number, but oh yes, it does give the model number. There it is. Underneath the case back is a 4 hertz movement. I don't know who makes it. It doesn't say in the ad, and I don't see any writing on the movement itself. So I'm assuming it's Chinese made. You're not going to get a 4 hertz Japanese movement for a watch in this price range. Last time I used my phone Timegrapher because I didn't have a proper Timegrapher, and I was able to show that it was indeed a 4 hertz movement. But let's look at it on a real Timegrapher now. Here it is on the Timegrapher, and as you can see, it is indeed a 4 hertz movement beating at 28,800. It looks like it's running pretty fast though, plus 18. But it seems to be a fairly consistent plus 18. Well, there's plus 15 right there. We have a little bit of beat error, 0.2. Amplitude is not that bad. Once again, though, it's always better to run fast and not slow, because if you need to adjust it because it's drifted, all you have to do is hack it and wait for time to catch up, and this movement does indeed hack. The bracelet is a 3-link oyster style. It's fully brushed. We do not have polished center links, and I prefer that anyway. We have solid end links, and we do have push pin adjusters, not screw pin. I'm perfectly happy with push pins. They're just easier. Then we have a butterfly clasp. This is the same as last time, and I don't know why they put a butterfly clasp on this. It doesn't fit the style of watch. For a diver, you want a adjustable clasp with micro adjust, and it would have been nice if they would at least gave us half links, but they did not. So this is a almost 150 gram watch, so it's heavy enough where you won't need a good fit. And unfortunately, having a butterfly clasp with no half links, you're not going to It's the luck of the draw on whether or not you get a good fit or not. Unfortunately for me, it's just a hair tight when I wear it. But if I put another link in, it's going to be way too loose. And I did remove 3 links though. Last time I only removed 1, so they fixed that issue. So you should be able to wear this if you have a big wrist. But yeah, and the trouble is too, it's going to be really difficult to replace this clasp with something else. You'd probably be easier just replacing the entire bracelet. But I did order a Rolex style clasp that's has the 9mm attachment, and I'm going to see if I can make it work without replacing the whole bracelet. But I don't think it's going to work because this has push pins and all the clasps have screw pins, and those are just bigger, so it's probably not going to fit in the holes. So more than likely you're going to need a new bracelet if you want a better clasp. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks really nice. It doesn't look like a sub $40 watch, that's for sure. Well, like I said though, when I was describing the bracelet though, it's just too tight on me. But if I put another link in, it's going to be too loose. So I'd rather wear it a little bit tight than too loose, so it doesn't flop around on me. But that's a really nice looking watch though. So if I was to keep this, I'd probably just get another bracelet that has a better clasp. Here we are in the Lume room. 2 years ago, I did a Lume test, but that was before I was speeding up the time to properly test it long term. 2 years ago, it looked like the only disappointment was the Lume pip, but the hands looked pretty good. So let's see what it does 2 years later. As we speed up the time, we see completely different results than 2 years ago. This time, the hands are significantly weaker and are fading very fast. This time the Lume pip is much better, but who cares about the Lume pip if you can't see the minute hand? This is a big disappointment and a downgrade from 2 years ago and a big letdown. What do I like about this watch? 4 hertz movement on such an affordable watch. It really looks nice for a watch in this price range. And it does have great bezel action, even though it's 90 click and not 60 or 120. What are my grapes and groans? Butterfly clasp with no half links means that I'm wearing the watch too tight. The ad claims sapphire, but it's clearly glass. And it has really weak hand loom, which makes the strong index loom pointless. What did they fix from 2 years ago? Longer bracelet. The crystal now sits above the bezel, not below it. And it has a much better loom pip. What got worse about this watch from 2 years ago? The hand loom is awful. It has a 90 click bezel instead of 60, and the watch is a millimeter thicker. Do I recommend this watch? Yes. Despite the few little fibs and that annoying butterfly clasp, you're still getting quite a bit of watch for a really low price. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Lige 6801, and I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.